Channel 2S is brought to you by New Type HQ. Get your kits and supplies at the link in the description below. The mobile game Gundam Breaker Mobile, also known as Gunpla Battle Gundam Warfare, or something along those lines internationally after New Gundam Breaker kind of completely destroyed the Gundam Breaker name's reputation internationally, is going to be getting a lot of love in 2021, and today we're going to be looking at everything they're going to be doing to celebrate this game. The Gundam Breaker game franchise has been around since 2013, however it's always just been about the games. It started on PS3, we got another game on PS3, we got one on PS4, we got a really bad one on PS4 and PC, and then we got the current iteration on mobile devices. And sure, it's got some optimization issues, but as far as Gundam games you can actually get your hands on officially outside of Japan go, it's not that bad. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse. So up until now, Gundam Breaker's kind of been just about the games. However, in 2021, we're going to get the Gundam Breaker Battlogue project, which is going to be unifying Gunpla, anime, and the games, and it's going to really turn this into a proper franchise. At the moment, it does seem like this is going to be our next successor for series like Build Fighters and Build Divers to kind of continue on the Build legacy. And what's most interesting about this is they are focusing hard on the overseas market, to the point where there are certain items here that Bandai's not even sure if they're actually going to release in Japan. This campaign is going to be primarily focusing on the United States, and this is the first time that they've really pivoted this hard towards the US in a long time, so I am very interested as an American to see where this goes. The first branch of this is of course the models. Now, with the Gundam Breaker series, they are paying extra close attention to ensuring that all of the parts on these kits can be swapped around just like you can in the game. So the shoulders, the waists, and the necks are all going to be interchangeable. Now, when it comes to modern high grades, this is pretty much a given already. However, seeing as we've had some build series in the past that would sometimes bring in absolutely ancient high grade molds, it is pretty interesting that this time they're putting a much bigger focus on unifying the overall feel of the line. And they have quite a few kits planned for this line. Now, some of these are going to be retail, some of them are going to be P Bandai. However, it is worth noting that, again, they're really focusing on the US here, so I do not think it's going to be too hard at all to get your hands on any of these exclusive kits if you're living in America. Now, if you're anywhere else in the world, well, you know what? They said international, so maybe you guys are going to be getting some love too. We'll have to wait and see. Worst case scenario, though, the P Bandai kits are all palette swaps, so if you don't get these in your home country, you're not really missing out on a whole lot. First of the new kits is the Gundam Helios, and these are definitely some controversial designs because they're really out there, and I don't blame anyone watching this video if they think everything we're looking at today looks like crap, because these kits definitely aren't the best that Bandai's ever put out in a build series. With that said though, I don't think they're completely terrible. So starting things off with the Helios here, we have what looks like I guess this kind of has to be a new mold kit. I'm not seeing a lot of reused tooling here. The most obvious noticeable thing about this kit is the fact that it just has regular ass Freedom Gundam wings slapped on upside down. And I understand what they're trying to go for here. They're trying to copy the look of the XX Gundam with the satellite panels sticking up over his shoulders. However, when you do that with Freedom wings, it kinda just looks dumb. Fortunately though, if you like everything else about this kit, I'm sure that there's gonna be enough articulation on this backpack to just flip those wings around the normal way, and you'll have a pretty cool looking Gundam. With the wings extended, it still looks kinda silly. However, the upside down wings do actually now serve a purpose because what used to be the shoulder cannons on the Freedom Gundam are now hip mounted. Gundam Live Lance Heaven is probably the most exciting kit here, not for its own merits, but just because of what it implies. As you can obviously tell by looking at this kit is basically a fully inverted Gundam Death Scythe Hell. What was dark about the original is light about this one, and I don't necessarily know if this design works super well either. But whether you like this model or not, the fact that this basically confirms a high-grade Death Scythe Hell is pretty awesome. Sure, we were pretty much guaranteed to get one anyways, but this shows that Bandai's at least got the tooling ready for it. As for the Live Lance specifically though, I don't really know if I'm a fan. I like the lance itself, I think that's pretty cool, I love that Sinanju effect part in blue, but that's about all I like about it. The Perfect Strike Freedom, on the other hand, is one of the kits I've seen people talk smack about the least, and for good reason because this thing looks pretty awesome. Obviously, they took inspiration from the Perfect Strike Gundam and basically turned the Strike Freedom into a Perfect Strike, even going so far as to give it a brand new chest that pretty much straight up looks like the Strike Gundam chest. And in a very cool touch, the sword and cannon can be combined to form one massive sword. And while I'm not 100% sold on this kit, I can definitely understand why people like it. The Blazing Gundam is a pretty cool combination of the God Gundam, Shining Gundam, and Rising Gundam that manages to stand apart from the Build Burning series despite using basically the same design concept. The coolest part about this kit for me is that he has freaking beam tonfas. I'm a sucker for any kind of beam weapons that deviate from the traditional beam saber, so this kit definitely has my attention for that alone. However, the main gimmick of this kit is that instead of having a shining finger, he has a shining foot. And now is the time to leave your Kamen Rider references in the comments section. And the other major feature of this kit is that it has a removable face mask that goes over the traditional Gundam head. Man, between this mask and that kick, the Kamen Rider jokes really do write themselves, don't they? Barbitaros is the first proper IBO kit we've gotten in a build series, and no, the Gibaldi rebake does not count because this is actually using an IBO model as the base for the design. Turning the IBO Gundam frame into a centaur is pretty creative, although once you look at it from behind, you start to realize what's going on. I don't think this is the most elegant way they could have made a centaur Gundam, however, given what they were working with, I think it's a pretty creative solution. And with it being a Barbatos variant, I'm sure a lot of people are going to go nuts for this. Command Quanta is another kit I've seen a lot of love for. Now sure, we have gotten some Musha Gundams before, and we've got a nice Robot Damashi the Night Gundam, but I'm pretty sure this is the closest we've gotten to a normally proportioned Command Gundam. And the Command Gundam is the last of the retail kits we have confirmed for this time, so moving on to the premium Bandai recolors, we have the Urban Ground Gundam, which is a nice black and orange recolor reminiscent of the Gundam full-scale deployment colors. The Goof Crimson Custom is very clearly inspired by Char and his Zaku, and the Astrayan version is just a darker, edgier version of the red frame Astray. Finally, we have the Wing Gundam Sky Zero, and while I have no interest in picking up this kit, I am definitely going to be stealing this color scheme. And the final exclusive kit that is semi-related to Gundam Breaker Battlogue, but not technically part of the Battlogue lineup, is the American entry-grade Gundam. No, this is not a joke, we are actually getting this as an exclusive kit to the United States of America. It's coming out in October 2021, and I am definitely picking this up. Now, how will the Gundam Breaker mobile game, or if you're in America, Gundam Battle Gunpla Warfare, interact with the Battlogue project? Well, as you might expect, because all of these models are being made for Gundam Breaker, they will be appearing in the Gundam Breaker game as well, and you'll be able to customize them in the game, just like you can customize them in real life. The final branch of the Gundam Breaker Battlogue project is a new anime. This is going to be a short, mini-episode-based OVA series, similar to what we saw with Build Fighters Battlogue, and like with Build Fighters Battlogue, I don't necessarily know if you should be getting your hopes up too much for it. A lot of people were disappointed by Build Fighters Battlogue. It really was a mixed bag, and every episode definitely wasn't for everyone. With that said though, we do know a little bit about what we're getting from the series. The 6-episode OVA series will be containing characters and story elements from both the Gundam Breaker mobile game and the console games as well, kind of bringing them together into one universe. Now, from what I've played of the Gundam Breaker games, the story in them isn't really anything special, but I'm sure more hardcore fans of the series are going to be very excited to see them finally in animated form. The Gundam Breaker Battlogue anime will be streaming on Gundam Info starting this fall. And as for the high-grade models, they will be released on consecutive months starting in November 2021 and continuing into February 2022. So now that we have a pretty good idea of what Bandai has planned for this winter, I want to know what you guys think. Any kits here you like? Any kits here you don't like? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and as always, I'm Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.